Good morning, student. Welcome to the fifth lecture of unit number 5. In today's lecture, we are going to discuss about Android Media Player class and Android text-to-speech class. So let's start with the Android Media Player class. So first of all, Android provides many ways to control playback of audio or video files and streams, and one of these way is through a class called Media Player. So Android is providing media player class to access built-in media player services like playing audio, video, etc. It means that by using media player class, we can access audio or video files from application, that is from the raw resources, standalone files in the system, and from a data stream arriving over a network connection, and plays audio or video files with the multiple playback options such as play music, for example, pause, forward, backward, etc. So in order to use media player, we have to call a static method, that is create method, and this method returns an instance of media player class. So the syntax for the create method is that media player is equals to media player dot create, and the parameters are these r dot raw dot song. That means there are two parameters in the syntax of create method. So the second parameter in the create method, that is raw.strong parameter, is the name of the song that we want to play from our application resource directly. For example, resources slash raw, because all the images, song, media, we have to store it in our resource folder, which is available in your Android Studio. So the second parameter in create method is the name of the song that we want to play. And in case if the raw folder not exists in your application, then create a new raw folder under resource directory. That means in the Android Studio, there is a resource directory, and inside that resource directory, just create a new raw folder if it is not exist already in there, and add a properly encoded and formatted media files in it. So in case if we want to play an audio from a URI that is locally available in the system, then we need to write the code which consists of the URI, whichever your song is stored in your system. So this is about the syntax of the create method. After that, once you have created the media player object, you can call some methods to start or to stop the music, and these methods are like media player dot start method, and second one is the media player dot pause method. So and these two methods we can call after creating media player object. That means after using create method, which instantiate your media player class. So media player dot start method and media player dot pause method. So on call to start method, the music will start playing from the beginning, and if this method is called again after the pause method, the music will start playing from where it is left and not from the beginning. And now you have noticed that thing whenever you play a music in your Android phone. So whenever you pause that music, and when you resume that playing, it will start from where you left that music and not from the beginning. So in order to start music from the beginning, you have to call reset method. Okay, so it means that by using start method, you start playing your music from the beginning, and by using the pause method, your music will start playing from where it is left. But if you want to start your music again from the beginning, that means that time you have to call the reset method. So the syntax for the reset method is like start and pause method, that is media player dot reset method. So apart from the above methods, that is apart from the start method, pause method, and reset methods, there are some media player class which provides different types of methods to control audio and video files based on your requirements. So the first method which is available is that is playing method. So this method just returns a true or false to indicate whether the song is playing or not. Then second method is seek to position method. So this method is used to move a song to particular position in milliseconds. So this method takes an integer value and moves song to that particular position millisecond. Then the next one is get current position. So the get current position is used to get the current position of song again in milliseconds. So seek position, that means whenever you try to seek your music, whenever you try to seek your song, it will take a millisecond to seek that, and whenever you want to get current position of that song, that time it also takes a millisecond time for the searching and seeking. Then the next is the get duration, and now we know that the duration seeking time, searching position time is in a millisecond. That means the get duration method returns the total time duration of song in milliseconds. Then the next method is that reset method. So this method is used to reset the media player object. Then sixth one is release method. It is used to release the resources which are associated with the media player object. That means this method releases any resources attached with your media player object. After that, set volume. So set volume methods, the parameters are float left volume and float right volume. So the set volume method is used to adjust the media player volume either up or down. Then set data source, and the parameter is file descriptor ID, file descriptor FD. So it is a source of your data. So it is used to specify the path of audio or video file to play. That means where your audio or video file is stored in your system, or it is stored where it's stored in your mobile phone. That is the source of that media file, and that we get from the set data source method, and which has a parameter like file descriptor, that is FD. Then select track, and the parameter is int index. So this method takes an integer value and select the track from the list on that particular index. For example, in your index, the song that you want to play is at the 5th number of position. It means that the select track method takes a 5 number as an integer value and select that track, that means select that song which is available in the 5th number in your particular index. Then get track info. So get track info method returns an array of track information. So this is all about the methods which are related to the Android media player class. After that, so this is about your Android media player. So we have seen what is Android media player. After that, we have seen create method, Then to start the media player, we use start method. To pause, we use pause method. And whenever we want to start music from the beginning, that time we use reset method. And after that, we have discussed the different methods which are related to the Android media player. Then the next topic is Android text to speech. So in Android, it allows you to convert your text into voice. That means in Android, by using text to speech feature or text to speech class, we can easily convert our text into voice, and it supports different type speaking languages. So we can choose the speaking language based on our requirement in Android application. So not only you can convert it, but also allows you to speak text in a variety of different languages. So Android provides text to speech class for this purpose. So in order to use this class, you need to instantiate an object of this class, and also you need to specify the init listener. So generally the Android text to speech instance can only be used to synthesize text once it has completed its initialization. So implement text to speech on init listener to notify the completion of the initialization. So during the initialization, we can set the audio pitch, we can set the audio pitch rate, audio speed, type of language that we want to speak, etc. based on our requirements. So the syntax for that is private edit text write. This TT object means it is text to speech object. New text to speech is your object, new object. Parameters are get application context. Then text to speech on init listener that we have to specify. So in this listener, you have to specify the properties for text to speech object, like as I told you, like language, the language that you want to speak, the pitch rate, the speed of your audio, and so on. So it can be set by calling set language method, and the syntax for the set language method is that text to speech object, that is tt object dot set language, and the language that you want to use, that local dot uk. So the method set language, text and local object as a parameter. As you can see over here, local.uk, it is text as a parameter. So the list of some of the locals available are for example, US, Canada, French, Germany, Italy, Japan, China. Likewise, a number of languages are available in that list, and from that you can select the language that you want to use in your text to speech feature in your Android mobile phone. And after that, once you set the language, you can also call speak method of the class to speak the text. And most of the times when you type your messages, so instead of typing, you start speaking, and that speaking is converted into the text. So the syntax for this is that text to speech object dot speak to speak, comma text to speech dot q underscore flush, comma null. So by using this syntax, whatever you speak by using your microphone, that speech is converted into a text. That means that speech is converted into a text like as you are typing whatever you want to type. Then these are the methods which are related to the Android text to speech. The first method is that add speech. Parameters are string, text, comma, string, file name. So by using this method, you can add a mapping between string of text and a sound file. That means the sound file, yeah, it means whatever you speak it will be converted into a string of text like a Google Assistant. Whatever you speak in your Google Assistant, it will consider it as a text and give you a search result. Then the second is get language. So this method returns a local instance describing the language as we have seen over here. These are the locals of language. So these you can get by using get language method. Then is speaking method. This method checks whether the text to speech engine is busy speaking. So you have noticed that whenever you use the Google Assistant for speaking something, if it is busy, or for example, if you are watching this lecture on Zoom and at the same time you try to use your Google Assistant, it gives you a error message that your microphone is busy somewhere. That's why we are not able to search. So it means that is-speaking method checks that whether the text-to-speech engine is busy speaking or not. Then the set pitch method, the parameters are float, speech, and the pitch is your rate. So this method sets the speech pitch for the text-to-speech engine. That means it sets the rate of your speech, and after that set speech rate. So this method also sets the speech rate, and after that shutdown method. So this method releases the resources used by the text to speech engine, and by using stop method you can stop your speaking. So this is about the text to speech. So we have seen that the syntax for text to speech, where we have to specify the init listener. We can also set languages by using local object as a parameter. And after that, we have also seen we can call a speak method of the class to speak the text. Then there are 7 methods which are related to your Android text to speech class. And after that, we have sensors in our Android mobile phone. So generally, most of the Android devices have a built-in sensor to measure motion, orientation, and various environmental conditions. So these sensors will provide a raw data with high accuracy and are useful to monitor three-dimensional device movement or positioning or monitoring changes in the ambient environment near a device. So as in the your ATI subject, in the uh, in the embedded system unit, I think it is your third unit. In that, we have discussed about the sensors which are used for the monitoring various environmental changes. So likewise in Android also, here we are going to use sensors for positioning or monitoring changes in the environment near a device. For example, in your mobile phone, it shows the daily temperature, it shows the it is rainy day, or it is a sunny day, or whatever the temperature changes. So, for example, to report changes in environment, a weather application might use temperature sensor and humidity sensor, or a travel application might use geomagnetic field sensors and accelerometer to report a compass bearing, etc. So the Android mainly supports 3 categories of sensors like motion sensor, second one is the environmental sensor, and third one is the position sensor. So what is motion sensor? So motion sensors are useful to measure acceleration forces and rotational forces along 3 axes, that means X, Y, and Z axis. In your mathematics, we called it as a 3 axis, but in your geography, these 3 axes are having a different names. So this category includes accelerometers, gravity sensors, gyroscopes, and rotational vector sensors. Then second one is the environmental sensor. So environmental sensors are useful to measure various environmental parameters such as ambient air temperature and pressure, illumination, and humidity. So this category includes barometers, photometers, and thermometers. So the Barometers, photometers, and thermometers are comes under the category of environmental sensors. Then third one is the position sensors. So positional sensors are useful to measure the physical position of a device. This category includes orientation sensors and magnetometers. So this is about the basic three categories of the sensor. So Android provided a framework called sensor framework to access all the sensors available on device and to get all the raw sensors data. So the sensor framework provided a wide variety of sensor related tasks, and by using this sensor framework we can perform different things like it will list all the available sensors on the device. It determines the capabilities of each sensor such as its maximum range, its manufacturer, power requirement, and resolutions. Such sensors can acquire raw sensor data and define the minimum rate at which you acquire sensor data. It also registered and unregistered sensor event listeners that monitor sensor changes. It will also perform that it will allow us to access many type of sensors. Some of these sensors are hardware based and some are software based. The hardware based sensors are physical components built on the handset or tablet device, and software based sensors are not a physical device but they mimic hardware based sensors. So Android sensor frameworks provide some classes and interface to access device sensors and acquire raw sensor data. So the sensor classes are like sensor manager, second one is the sensor, then sensor event, and the sensor event list. So in the next lecture, we will discuss about the classes of the sensor.